Hello and welcome. I'm Darren, and we are at a very special place in Cyberpunk 2077. I have found it. I have found this majestic area, and I will name it Frogboy's Bush. I found Frogboy's Bush. It's an incredible area. I'm sure Andrew won't mind. I've obviously watched some of his videos. Recorded in this very area, and I wanted to check it out for myself, and I kind of wanted to check it out in a screen captured scenario rather than how Andrew does it, which is perfectly fine. He's obviously he's how he makes his content, no problem with that whatsoever. How he views what he sees on screen, no problem whatsoever. I'm sure he won't mind. But I kind of wanted to get to this area and actually check it out for myself and see what I could see. So I might have to restart the game. I might be alright. Because at this moment in time, we are running with DLSS4 at performance upscale. We'll quick check it out. I will try my best not to sniff or take on any fluids during this video because I've been told it's disgusting. Unfortunately, I did have tubes shoved down my throat, so I have a very sore and dry throat. But I wouldn't want to disgust anyone watching this content, so I will hopefully not lose my voice during this time. And I think I just sniffed. I apologise for my disgustingness. With that said, we will go to the graphics. We are obviously at the transformer model, so DLSS4. We are at performance level. We do have frame generation on at the moment because I wanted to see if any of the issues that I could see, even with DLSS4, because it is not perfect, I wanted to see if any of those were fixed or worsened by a lower frame rate versus a higher frame rate. Because you can see, I can certainly point out issues that I can find with DLSS4. I'm going to have to knock everything down, maybe try it native, and then see. Obviously, what happens in Cyberpunk, certainly on an NVIDIA GPU, is when you add all of the ray tracing on, and then you add ray reconstruction on, and then you add DLSS all together, those things all combined work together, and you just get this pretty decent picture. So probably one of the main things that you'll see stood in this position is, I assume there's a hologram on that, whatever it is in front of me, the blue and orange thing that is shimmering. I'm going to assume when we look at it on a different angle, that might... Okay, so it's like glass in it. So that's probably the one thing that I noticed. After that, the other thing that you can notice is these patterns in this doorway. So if you look behind the stop and walk sign, there's that highly kind of patterned doorway, and you will see that when cars drive past it or people walk past it, it takes time to reconstruct. I would completely expect that using any type of upscaler. We can try it at quality DLSS. I would be surprised if it manages to fix it. For some reason, there's no traffic. Oh yes, there's traffic. Traffic is coming. So, oh, it's gone now. Where'd the pattern go? The pattern just disappeared. It's gone dark. God damn. Right, so we'll move over to this one. I wonder why that happened. Oh, that one's gone now. Have I just had a light change? Fuck. That wasn't supposed to happen. So, you can't fucking see it now. That was bright as day a minute ago. I assume the sky has changed and it's now pointing in a different direction. So it's not illuminating that area and it's now become shaded. That's handy. You can kind of still see it through the window there. I can probably replicate it. Hold on. She'll walk past it. These people will walk past it. Car will drive past it. It doesn't look so bad now. Oh, it's back. Maybe there's a light on in there? So if you keep an eye on that, you'll see there, as that guy just walked past it. It takes time to replicate itself. See those people walking past. So that's obviously one thing that you're going to get. We can try a better upscale method. I don't know if that will change it. I think, yeah, you can see it. Depending on how far away you are from it, the lines become finer, and you can see there it's taking obviously a lot more work now to try and fix it. As far as Andrew's bush it kind of looks like a bush to me. I'm not going to lie. Now, if you're struggling with how bush-like your bush looks, you could probably turn your sharpness down. Instead of having it at 1, you could probably turn it down to 0. And you've definitely got a much softer bush now. In fact, that has softened this image quite substantially. So, I'm going to tell you there, Andrew, crank that sharpness down and you might actually quite like this image. Because that did make quite a difference. I could play it like this. I kind of like where it was. Maybe a little bit under what it was at 55. Let's go 50. I think 50 looks good. 50 looks good to me. I think for a man with your taste, you could probably knock that down to 0. And I think you'd probably be a lot happier with it. Because what we will do... right, we're going to end up knocking off frame gen. But, I mean, those are probably the main issues I can see. For me personally, as I said, this is obviously DLSS4 at performance upscale to 4K. I'm blown away with it. I never thought that I'd see DLSS4... DLSS performance look this good. I think it looks incredible. So we're going to have to... I think we can throw off... I think it's only if you turn on frame gen you need to restart. I'm sure we can just turn it off. So let's turn that off. And then let's go to... obviously, that doesn't improve. It doesn't change. Yes, I know you're going to tell me that, but you'll be fine. It doesn't change how the game looks. I wanted to see if a faster frame rate... I think it does. When you see... Oh, when I zoom, it doesn't do it. So when you see the people walking past that thing and it flickering... I think when you've got a higher frame rate, it fixes itself faster than if you've got a slower frame rate. We can... We can go to quality. This is going to be a really low frame rate. This might not give me the information that I want. It doesn't do it as much, does it? So that's definitely improved at DLSS quality. We're at a very slow frame rate, so we are now getting ghosting, but I would put that down to the fact that we're running at 30 FPS. So at a high frame rate, you could argue that DLSS at quality, it's obviously a lot sharper, this image now. I don't think, other than something like that, I don't think it actually drastically changes this. And DLSS quality is really, really, really good in this game at 4K. So the drop down to performance isn't that huge. That probably one area there was probably the most noticeable thing. I think you're probably going to see. The rest of it, I think looks very similar. You're just getting that ghosting, obviously, because you're at 30 FPS and probably... I haven't got... This isn't a crazy amazing monitor. It's not an OLED monitor. I am going to get some motion with it. I don't know how fast its response time is. So, let's go back to performance. That did fix. It was better. At the same time, that was kind of one issue that I don't think was a huge issue. It's not ideal, but I don't think it's bad. You can see it doing it now. For the rest of the image, I don't see anything. So, let's go to FSR3. FSR3 at performance. Apply that. We'll stay at the same sharpness that we were just at, so we're at 50%. And like instantly, the image quality is dropped so drastically. It's incredible. So that thing, are we suddenly going to have a lot of people? Well, that thing just flickers. It doesn't stop. It obviously cannot replicate. You can tell. Oh, when you zoom in, you can see the shape it's supposed to be. From this distance, it doesn't know what it's doing with it. It doesn't need people walking past it to affect it. Those lines down there on the sidewalk are going mental. Those lines on that sidewalk are going mental. Down there is like a bit of a disco party of some random stuff going on. And Andrew's bush has kind of lost any definition of a bush. I think all these signs, even those signs don't look... That stays looking blurry, that sign. I don't know if it's supposed to. That looked blurry on DLSS as well. The rest of the signs look very clear. Whether it's just the angle I'm stood at or not, I don't know. I think those signs looked clear and now they look blurry. Those signs all look blurry. She doesn't look good. Pixelated. Has a pixelated trail following her. Same with her. Andrew, my friend, what are you doing? What are you doing? I don't even know what's going on with those things over there. Let's go. I feel like I just dropped the resolution. Did I drop the resolution? No, we're still at 4K. It's only gone to performance. Everything else is still on. Everything should be cranked to the max. Yes. All of that stuff's off. Performance. DLSS transformer model. Performance. 50% sharpness. Apply. Fuck me. The difference, I'm going to be honest, I feel like I was just playing at 480p and then I just went to 4K. I honestly think that. This is actually, like, I'm going to be honest, dude, you've just found an area that probably looks worse for FSR than any of the areas where I've been trying to make a comparison. Like, this is actually worse. Holy shit. And to be fair, like I said, dude, if you don't like those trees... There you go. Fixed. I understand what you're saying about the trees. I understand what you're saying. It is a computer game. It's not a new computer game. This game does have some age to it when you look at it. So certain assets do look gamey. They do look like they stand out rather than blending in as part of the environment. But computer games do that. There's no way around it. When you're trying to replicate anything that would look real in real life, in real vision, a computer game is... something is always going to stand out in a certain way. Like I said, when I was in Red Dead Redemption 2 the other day doing the video for that, the lampposts stood out as not quite looking organic. They didn't look organic in their environment. I think I know what you're trying to say. I don't see it. I think I know what you're trying to say. But the comparison is, oh no, those signs look blurry there actually. So there is something about the Delamain signs that just look shit. Those ones look like clean and crisp and nice. That one there looks crap. Those ones kind of do look a bit blurry at that. Obviously those warning ones look clean and crisp. Those new job get an upgrade ones look clean and crisp. That Night City one looks clean and crisp. Let's just have a little quick look over there at the building reflections. I mean, that glass looks pretty awesome. It's probably not a huge, because it's transparent, you're not getting a huge amount of reflection detail off that. But anyway, we didn't come here for the drug squad. So I wonder if FSR, I wonder what it does with that. I think FSR might, let's find out. Let's find out. It's not... yeah, okay. As soon as it started moving. I was about to say, no, it's not that bad. Oh, yeah, no, it's fucked. And that is... was that like that? No. So, I mean, look. I mentioned in one of your comments, the upscaler is supposed to, it's not about making something look nice for a person's personal own taste. It's about trying to replicate the image at the resolution that it is supposed to be at. So this is, without any shadow of a doubt, doing a better job at replicating the native image. Because... I hate to say it, but when you say something loses detail, you shouldn't be worried about DLSS losing detail. You need to be worried about FSR losing detail, because it loses detail. You can't read the seats anymore. You can't see what's going on in that anymore. All of those windows in that building over there, which I'm going to assume it didn't do with DLSS. I didn't. No, don't do that. I'm going to break the game in a minute, aren't I? Nah, those windows over there are fine. Everything's clean, crisp, how it would be if it was at 4... I'm not going to say it's as good as 4K native. We are upscaling from 1080p. I don't expect it to be as good as 4K native. I don't think 4K native in this game is actually particularly that great. It might not be that far off. But at the same time, if I go to 4K native, I can't make a good comparison of it, because I'd have to remove path tracing, ray reconstruction, and all of the things that make this game look better. Until they release a 7090 that can maybe play this game at 60 FPS native, I'll check out the difference then. But yeah, bro, I know what you're doing. This isn't a this isn't a good showing for FSR. It is sad to say it does not look good at all. The character models, the car models, everything drops to such a low resolution. I mean, to be fair, you won't be able to hear me, but if I sit back, if I move to the back of my room, it doesn't look that bad. Oh no, it still doesn't look great. And obviously if I move to the back of my room and then look at DLSS, it would look absolutely immaculate and probably better than 4K native. So that's almost a pointless comparison. The further away you are from your screen, it's going to look better. So there's a lot of stuff going on down there. I'm going to leave it there. 20 minutes. I don't want to drag this video out for too long because I get mained out for doing videos that are too long. Yeah, sorry, man. I'm going to be honest. This don't look good. I don't think this looks good to anyone. If it looks good to you, that's totally fine. I would probably urge anyone to check it out for themselves because I am going to guess that there's no one that would want to play like this. I would personally rather just drop all the settings, drop the ray tracing, drop the path tracing. If I was on an AMD GPU and just play it with no ray tracing and the highest or less upscaling, I'd want to use the least upscaling available. I mean, I don't know what XCSS works like in this game. Let's have a quick look. Auto performance. Oh, XCSS is better. It deals with that thing there. Not far off. I tell you what, it deals with that thing nearly as close as what DLSS does. The rest of the image looks lower resolution though. It still doesn't look like it's... And those trees have a bit of movement going on in them. It's better. I definitely play... Well, I wouldn't definitely play this. I'd absolutely 100% without any shadow of a doubt play with DLSS. But XCSS does a far, far better job in this circumstance than what FSR does. Let's have a look. And you can read the seats. Wow. So, yeah, that kind of shows a lot. I mean, that one's obviously got something going on over in the corner over there from the angle we were at. Didn't like that, but that's nothing bad. That's actually very impressive for XCSS. XCSS 1.3 performance. Yeah. Well, there we go. So I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think. I'm sure... Andrew, you won't mind. I wanted to see it from my point of view, and I actually thought that running a screen capture might actually show a bit of a difference. I think it does show a bit of a difference. But if you've got a problem with DLSS, I'd probably say just crank the sharpness down. Crank the sharpness down and it takes away. Obviously it doesn't look like FSR. Nothing's going to make it look like FSR. Unless you play at 10. If you probably play under 1080p and then you use DLSS performance, it might look like FSR. But yeah, if you find DLSS too sharp, just turn the sharpness down. You had it over. I got a feeling you had it like fully sharpened. So no wonder you found it looked funny. I don't know why it would have been like that, because default it's at 55. Where were you? I'm not surprised you found it look sharp. Default's 55. This does look over sharpened. So I don't know what you've been doing there, my friend, but I'm not surprised you find it looks over sharpened. Default's 55. Playing around with it, I'd probably play at 50, but that's what default should be. Unless I've manually dropped it. I don't think I did. I don't think I've ever touched the sharpness. I'd probably play at 50. To be fair, maybe even 40 might look quite nice. Let's have a look. It's noticeably softer. It's not bad. You do get that kind of things blend in a little bit. But I mean, it's very, very quick and simple to personalize that to your tastes. It makes a lot of difference. Whether it makes enough difference that you'd like it, I don't know. It definitely makes a lot of difference. All of those details now look considerably softened. I like if you had that at 1 and you go to 0, it makes a huge difference. I think it makes a huge difference. Personally, I'd probably still play it at 50. And that's me on 4K. But there you go. So that's probably the biggest issue that I can see, that thing there. When you zoom in, it kind of goes because you're making it bigger. The smaller it is, the worse it gets. I'm going to assume the further away I get from it, the worse it gets, because the finer the details are. So that's probably the one main thing that I can pick up on DLSS4. But anyway, I'm going because that's now 28 minutes. So anyway, if you like, swing me a like. I appreciate it. I will catch you in the next one.